Welcome to the home for the English curious. Annie Loves here, author and language confidence coach. So today we continue with part 3. This is what you will need in order to complete the exercises or continue with this lesson. And in today's lesson, we will focus on countable and uncountable nouns. We will learn how to express quantity using general quantifiers. Okay, in other words, you will learn how to communicate quantity using general quantifiers. So that's when you don't have precise numbers. And we will focus today specifically on small to large quantities vis-a-vis the negative aspect as well as questions. So it's alongside negative aspects and questions. So we move on now to count nouns. And count nouns apply when you are communicating general numbers. So they are broken down into countable versus uncountable. And countable come in singular or plural. Like here we have apples, for example. If you only have one apple, then you can speak of an apple. And the instance it's more than one, you speak of some apples. But remember, we're speaking in very general terms. So you would just say, buy some apples, as opposed to 2 apples or 3 apples or a kilogram. So the whole point of countable and uncountable nouns, as I said in the beginning, is when you are speaking in general terms, to just give an indication of general numbers or imply general numbers. And uncountables, of course, only come in singular format. So examples here include air, the air we breathe. They include foods like pasta, for example. And, you have other foods like rice. And I'd love to hear about other examples we can add on here. So these are just some uncountable versus uncountable noun examples. I want to take it a step further and speak about general quantifier examples you can apply to your vocabulary to communicate in generally quantifiable terms, okay, using countable versus countable nouns. And so here I have a scale, and you can see that it's tipped more towards the right. So this would be your larger, okay, your bigger quantifiers. And this is just an introduction because the dictionary is very broad, okay, and they obviously vary depending on the English level you're on. So this is an introduction for you to quantifiers, and we have a lot, many, how, and how many, actually, to be precise. We have words like how far, phrases like how far. And then on the opposite side, we have a little, a few, not many, much, and how much. So remember to just repeat after me, okay? If these words are unfamiliar to you, the pronunciation, or you can also look them up on Google Translate afterwards, replay the video, do what you need to get further clarity. So with this in mind, let's look at some sentences that actually include these quantifiers. And so one, we have, there is a little cheese in the kitchen if you would like some. So there is a little cheese in the kitchen if you would like some. A little would then be the general quantifier in small terms. Make sense? Number 2, I would like a few biscuits, please. Again, alluding to smaller quantity. There are not many students in the class. Whereas if you contrast that with the larger quantities, we have a lot of people. How many people attended? How far is the school project? How many kilometers or miles is it to Paris? Number 2, I would like a few biscuits, please. Again, alluding to smaller quantity. There are not many students in the class. Whereas if you contrast that with the larger quantities, we have a lot of people. How many people attended? How far is the school project? How many kilometers or miles is it to Paris? So I want to take this a step further and just clarify that when you're dealing with small quantities, we've looked at examples like a little and a few, okay? And when you are dealing with large quantities, we've looked at examples like a lot of money. We also looked at examples like many in the sentence. There were many people at the party. However, what I want to clarify is much, the difference between much and many, because often there is struggle with discerning the difference. And so when you are dealing with much and many in relation to specifically questions and the negative aspect, just remember that the grammar rule is much is uncountable, okay? So it would apply in the in uncountable situations. So in this example, we have, while asking a question, did you play much football during the COVID-19 pandemic? So we're asking, okay? And also, we are making a negative statement in the second example. There is not much pasta sauce left, okay? Whereas in the opposite, there is a lot of sauce left. I want to explain the rule around many to contrast this. And so many would be countable, and in relation to questions and negatives, the question would read, are there many football players in your class? Question mark. And in relation to a negative statement, you say the football team did not win many championships because of the COVID-19 infections. So can you see the difference there between countable, uncountable, in this application. There are many words like this in the English lexicon, and we will expand on them in future presentations. But I am going to wrap it here for today and just summarize that today we have looked at count nouns, specifically countable versus uncountable. And we have also looked at correctly communicating general quantities using much versus many and a little versus a lot, etc. And for today's exercise, I want you to please write down your favorite food recipe in 4 steps. So this is my challenge to you. So I'm going to leave it here for today. See you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.